Westchester Tournament of Champions, first leg of the Chicago Summer Series put on by the SSA. This tournament is actually run by the Westchester Park District in conjunction with the SSA. What you're about to see is 16-inch Chicago-style softball. We do not wear gloves. 60-foot bases. Lead off, you can't steal. 38 from the rubber to the point of home plate. 6-12 on the arc, open count. Because we're playing no glove, the pitcher gets a drag step, one step left, right, or back. He gets two fakes or hesitation. Third arm action must be to deliver the ball home. A fake or hesitation to a base is considered one of your fakes or hesitations. 300-foot fences here. This is not a mush ball, it's a 16-inch clincher. And as we pan around, you can see big outfields, 300-foot fences. Wind has been howling out all weekend. This is about as calm as it's been all weekend out here. 45s have been playing on a diamond with the wind blowing in all weekend, so this is their first chance to get on this A diamond, but scores have started to normalize a little bit. And 45s and flashback, two of the most storied programs in the history of 16-inch softball. They've won multiple major national championships. They've won multiple no-glove national championships. They've won every league you could win and every tournament you could win. So this is like the old days when these two teams hook up. And they all know each other, but this has been a great rivalry through the years. And there's Will Ross. He just got done broadcasting, trying to get Will to do the 8:15 game, bonus coverage.
The 10:15 game.
That's all right. Your mom's not here. You can stay up a little later. I'll write you a note. So, Flashback suffered some injuries. They're down to 10 players in terms of starters, and they've been playing shorthanded all day, so this is going to be very interesting. Checking the bunting on the fencing. It's not blowing around too much right now. Other Diamond still has a lot of wind, but it's not really translating. Top of the trees, it is blowing. So that's always a concern. Now the winner of this game will be in the winter bracket championship. And at 8:15, the Pharaohs will be playing Signature, and the winner of that team will be in the winter bracket championship. Again, double elimination tournament. And I believe there is a loser bracket game going on now, March and Moneyline. And there will be another loser bracket game at 8:15. Obviously, we're behind. This is the 7 o'clock game, Amalia. So we're about an hour behind, but we did do field maintenance, and earlier in the day we had some high-scoring long ball games. So not too bad, and we're glad we did the field maintenance. It really helped these last few games. So here's Brian Kearns, and he slashes a line drive. Nate Mercado, great read. And he jumps on it. Of course, Nate, one of the best shortstops in the game, and Nate has always had tremendous range. So that's going to bring up P.J. Raines. Now the wind is picking up a little bit, and it's been a very good tournament. And I'd like to congratulate the Pharaohs who are sticking around in that winners bracket game. March needs to win one more game here, and I think I jinxed us by talking about the wind calming down. But it's been like this for 3 days, so nothing new. So here's P.J. Raines. His dad, Petey Raines, also on Flashback. And even though Petey Raines hasn't been around a long time, Petey was always a fiery guy. And he's, I think, had a good impact on this Flashback team. So 2 strikes here. And Mike Myers did hurt a hip. So Mike, let me look at the lineup. Yeah, Scotty Vickers will be in his place in this game. And PJ pounds it up the middle, and Joe Pauly, starting at short center this game, makes the play. Again, Jeff Mastari is here, but he hasn't been playing. So I think that's probably the hand injury that we saw him when we did a game out in Melrose Park because he did pinch run and he looked good. And here's Dispenza, Danny Dispenza. And Dispenza, so they hit some balls hard, but right at some fielders. And we'll head to the bottom of the first inning, no score. So I'm trying to figure out, I believe March is the home team on the other diamond. We'll confirm that and we'll try to keep you up to date. I got a direct view of the scoreboard. But because the teams were crossing over, March had to play back-to-back. So we weren't as stringent on being in the right dugout in those situations. And this is a brave umpire right here, just standing that close to where they're.
Guys, hey guys,
There you go. So there was a car here. You see, they got the parking lot right here, and somebody had their lights on, and PJ Raines asked the umpire to see if he could shut them off, and they did. So, familiar here, Anthony Sanchez, Nate Mercado, Vince Acey. So it'll be very interesting to see if the 45s just continue to play good, solid softball like they have been, or if now maybe on a field with the wind pushing out, maybe some of their guys maybe try to go a little bigger in their swings or not, but they're playing so beautifully right now. And rolled up a good number against Hex with that wind howling in. The Malouk does not pay attention to environmental factors. So here, but I have noticed the better the player, sometimes the less the Malouk affects them. So here's Anthony Sanchez working the count. Again, most of these guys that do have a knuckleball, and we've talked about Mojis in the past, they like it when the wind is kind of in their face. And Anthony stays hot as he just drives it past Moj. And that's always been a little bit of a issue sometimes with flashback, that a lot of teams want to kind of shoot that box on them. And was one of the reasons why I was there. We tried to recruit this guy, Nate Mercado, when the Roadrunners broke up. We just kind of felt if we had Nate at short center, it would solve the problem. And they're a little short-handed. They got PJ playing there. And that ball gets past Vickers. Sanchez. And you see Nate Mercado, we've been talking all weekend, these big teams will take an extra base, and on this diamond with the outfielders having to play a little bit deeper, a lot of bases to be had. So second and third, nobody out here very early in the ball game. And we got a timeout as we got some kids wandering out onto the field. And so they're going to get that. Yeah, well, we knew it was going to be a crazy bracket because the way the draw was, we had quite a few major teams losing early. And, you know, a lot of times call it the, I don't want to say this, but I'm gonna, so I might get in trouble, folks. Stacey, high pop-up, that's trouble, and a little bloop, one-run scores, and so we saw the 45s getting a break or two in that Hex game with some balls that dropped in, and again, Vince Stacey does have a little pop, got that toward the end of the bat, and here is Scotty Vickers, or a Vetter, excuse me. I got Vickers, I got a Vickers, and Scotty's got a lot of pop. And he kind of almost set up like he was maybe going to try to hammer something to right center. No, he pulls it, base hit. And that's in the alley. Now Kearns falls down. 2 runs are in. And Scotty Vetter makes it to third. 45's continuing their trend of jumping on top as they go up 3-0 here in the bottom of the first. And it brings up Chris Lentine. Still nobody out. So we kind of thought that the losers bracket might be a little nutty with some big teams. I know Marty Dozen from Moneyline is here now. He missed their first few games. So here's Chris Lentine. Now with nobody out, you don't really want him to give himself up, because Flashback has been scoring double digits every game. And you want Chris to go for a hit, and if he can't, then Jimmy Moretti's job, and that's going to work. So another run in. Chris Lentine jogs in with a double, 4-0. So the 45's now playing some good ball, the best we've seen them all summer. Not that they've been playing horribly, but sometimes you need a tournament to kind of get the juices flowing. Here's Moretti. Again, nobody out here. The wind kind of pushing out here. And again, we saw them in the first game. They did the right thing, pushed the ball to the right side a few times, and they got, as I call it, the bonus a few times. And it just seems like when you do the right thing in softball and in life, good things happen. Well, the problem with Moji is when he falls behind, he will not throw the knuckleball. So if he misses early in the count, a lot of guys will try to. And there it's back to Moji. He knocks it down, and Julian Gutierrez can't dig it out of the dirt. And again, they're a little short-handed. No Piscitelli. Normally we would see Anthony Stacy at first. And Gibbs is going to take Moj out and bring in young Will Russ. Chris Lentine moved to third. He was not originally going to advance. Moji had a little bit more time than he thought there, and he spiked the throw. So we got a pitching change. We'll take care of some business and mention our anchor corporate partner for the Chicago Summer Series, Sweet Buzz. Nick Drabel from Moneyline started that company. If you're an adult and you use infused products, check them out. And you can always talk to Nick at a softball field. So here's Adam Haas. 45's right now set up for a monster inning. Runners on the corner, nobody out. And Adam stayed within himself, had a couple of hits to the center of the field. Looked like he was set up to go there again, and he's not a hard pull on the ground normally. And right about now, with nobody out, if you're Flashback, you'd love to get a double play somehow. And you'd trade that run for 2 outs. And Will grabs a strike right there. And Adam high pop-up. And Vickers makes the catch. He falls down, and that's going to allow Lentine to score. That was going to be a tough play for Gutierrez. Vickers had the better angle. And that's the part of the field where Mike Myers got hurt. Mike said he fell down trying to make a catch, and the ball popped in the air, and he landed right on his hip.
You're right there.
And here's Mike Marola. So 5-0, first out of the inning. If this wind is going to stay blowing, I'm pretty sure Flashback at some point is going to score some runs. Marola tries to go deep. Ryan Russ, long run. That ball really got knocked down. So you can, and Mike ran by going, holy cow, he thought he hit it pretty good, but top of the tree's blowing hard. Just knocked it down. So, again, flashback isn't going to spit the bit. These big teams understand that when you play good major teams, they're going to score runs. Joe Pauly in the box.
Hey, do you, JP? Which one do you like? Gotta be home, JP. Gotta be home.
So Will Russ trying to work out of a jam. And Mike Marasovic has pitched every inning of every game. And there's a base hit, so Pauly strokes a hit. Dispenza spikes the throw, but PJ Raines knocked it down like a hockey goalie. And the inning's going to continue for Danny Villarreal. And so far, the 45s are just doing what they've been doing all tournament, just popping the ball over the infield, taking advantage of the fact that everybody's deep. And there's a strike. And that pitch a little inside. And that's a foul ball, whistle down the line. And you see there, kids, if you're on third base, make sure you line up in foul territory. You don't want to be standing in fair territory over there and get hit by a ball like that. If you're in foul territory and it hits you, everything's okay. So here's Villarreal on the reset. And he goes up the middle, gets a piece of it, and Julian Gutierrez can't come up with it. Another run scores. So flashback, a few guys playing out of position here. Off to a shaky start, to say the least, 6-0. Here's Chuck Regaldo. So they have spun the lineup here, 11th hitter of the inning. And there's a high pop-up. Dispenza started back, but he comes back. So the inning ends, but 11 batters hit, 6 score. And we're going to head out to the second inning. 45's another early lead. They've been doing it all weekend. So Mike Marasovic going to come and coach first base. And it's going to be Gutierrez, Mike Manzella, and Joey Igarto. So right now, if you're flashback, you need to kind of put something on the board. We saw Hex couldn't get their offense untracked, and the 45s just kept leaking out. And the way the 45s will smother you, you got to earn your base hits. They have a very good infield. Nate with tremendous range, Joe Pauly very solid, Danny Villarreal, Haas, and Scotty Vetter, all very solid infielders. And here comes Julian Gutierrez. Julian couldn't dig a couple of balls out of the dirt, so you know he's thinking to himself that he wants to get back on the plus side of the ledger. That pitch a little high. And the wind has. And Julian goes hard, but right at Chuck. So he did not position it well. And here comes Manzella. Mike normally wears the leggings, those compression leggings, and not wearing them today, chilly day. He's got the shorts on. He doesn't wear the pants, probably because he's got those compression leggings on.
Go, man.
And he tries to go hard the other way, and that's going to be well out of play. That was past the fence over there. Somebody almost made a one-handed catch, but no good. So 2 outs here, nobody on. 1 out. Yeah, the scoreboard's wrong. Manzella, sky-high pop-up. And Scotty Vetter puts it away for out number 2. So this might be the first time Flashback has been trailing in a game this weekend. Brings up Joe Yagardo. So that was a big first inning for the 45s. Because even though they've been playing great, you jump up on a heated rival. And Joe Yagardo is going to get the first Flashback hit with an overhand chop into left center field, and it brings up Ryan Russ. So Adam Hawson, Joe Yagardo, trading bars, saying easy game. We have 2 umpires now for this game. I don't know what they're doing on the other diamond. And Ryan Russ delivers a hit. Yagardo will stop at second as Chuck Regaldo came flying in. Little 2-out threat here, and it brings up Anthony Stacy with Scotty Vickers on deck. I think that might be either Ryan's mother or his sister over there. Could be his girlfriend wearing the Flashback shirt, standing up on the bench.
You're good. Just right back. There you go.
And that's a ball. Again, they're only hitting 10, so Will Russ, and there's a ground ball, and Nate Mercado ran up the middle, and the ball got hit behind him. And Anthony Stacy drives in the first Flashback run. They break the seal 6-1. So Anthony kind of slid forward. Nate, reading his body language, thought he was going up the middle. And then he pulled his hands through. And he pulled that ball. So here's Scotty Vickers pressed into starting duty here with Mike Myers injured. And I see Petey Raines has grabbed the bat. And if it gets to that point, looks like he'll swing for William Russ.
Good.
So I'd be surprised if he swings here. There's one. And Vickers, he's going to roll it through the middle. Another run scores, 6-2. So 3-1 pitch. He hammered it on the ground past Moretti.
2 outs.
And Israel, a little concerned there that Jimmy Moretti didn't get into his hole, but that ball wasn't bouncing. He kind of rolled that hard through the infield. And here's Petey Raines, 2 outs.
Back!
Uh-oh, just made it.
That's okay. Hey, you got back.
Again, you know my pet peeve when a guy acts like he's going to hit and then doesn't. Good throw by Chris Lentine, just a little high. And there's a strike. 1-1 count now.
You're good.
Flashback with a base hit could chop this lead in half, and he flips the other way, and Nate Mercado gets there. They do score a pair. They make it 6-2. So flashback answering a little bit after getting punched in the mouth with a 6-spot. And it's going to be the top of the 45 lineup. Anthony Sanchez, Nate Mercado, and Vince Sacy. And this is a big inning for Flash. Back due to the fact that you just scored 2. To the 45s, you'd like to find a way and at least get those 2 back. Tree in the other game in the second inning. I still don't know who the home team is. I got to pay attention. There's 2 outs over there. So we'll see when they change the inning. March in the field right now. Playing money line. Now it's 4-3. So I think money line is winning that game. There's a ground ball right to Stacy. High throw, and Julian stayed on the bag there. You might have noticed he kept his entire body in fair territory. Anthony Sanchez was ducking, but that's why you got the orange base. That's where you're supposed to run. And here's Mercado. So a little better start to this inning than the first. And Nate flips it the other way, and Dispenza tippy-toes over. So 2 up, 2 down. Brings up Vince Sacy. 2 outs, nobody on. I'm sure Vince is thinking double. And we'll see here if which way he wants to go. He can pull the left field line. He can push the right field line. And he's more than capable of airing it out into a gap. Very difficult hitter. And the outfield is basically straight away. And Vince goes straight over the top on his horse's cards, and he makes the catch. So Sacy did try to go big. Brian Kearns caught it over the shoulder like a wide receiver. And they get the goose egg here in the bottom of the second. Beautiful catch there by Kearns. So we're going to head to the third, 6-2. Yeah, some of those throws in the first inning were very difficult. And even though Julian's played some first base here, he's been primarily playing right field. Flashback missing a couple of guys. Joe Pish, Justin Smykowski, who would normally be in center. So it's going to be 2-3-4. PJ Raines, top of the lineup, Kearns, just made that great catch. PJ Raines and Dispenza. So top versus top here. And Kearns rifles it. Nice catch there by Scotty Vetter at third. That ball was whistled. And Scotty Vetter was hugging the line there and made the catch. So here's PJ Raines, but we told you that's what they do. They'll smother you defensively. So 1 out here in the third. That ball was called flat. Didn't quite reach 6. And there's a strike. And that's well deep. And he draws the 1 out walk. So 1 out base runner for Danny Dispenza with Julian Gutierrez on deck. So it's interesting because even though it's the first tournament of the year, you can
You're good.
kind of cut the tension. And Dispenza dumps a hit. Now Chuck bobbles it, and that's going to let Dispenza get to second and third. Chuck looked like he was thinking about maybe taking a shot at throwing to third to get PJ Raines, and he didn't handle the ball clean. And here's Julian Gutierrez. Currently a 4-run lead. A base hit here could cut that in half. And that's why in games like this, you hate to see a walk. And Flashback generally is a patient team. They've been taking a lot of pitches. They're making Jimmy Moretti throw strikes. And that pitch is high. So Jimmy has been kind of flat throwing the first strike, and then he tries to come back high. Let's see if he flattens out. And he did, and that's kind of off the end of the bat, and it bounces over! Bounces over to center fielder. This is going to be a 3-run bat hop home run. Throw to the plate. 6-5. See if we got that on the replay. He hit a humpback and, got to the replay late. And it's 6-5. So Flash got the leadoff walk, base hit, and then the bat hop over to the center fielder, and here's Manzella. Nathan, originally we were going to try to do a tournament, but the individual that was going to put that together is going through some health issues, so we will not. But next Saturday, those of you longtime softball fans know Pat Malone used to run McGaffer's Saloon, and the village of Forest Park is going to rename the street next to where McGaffer's was, and that's a hot shot. Haas, a little confusing, and they just get him at first. So Adam Haas, good job there. He was looking for Moretti originally. But Manzella, lefty, they had 3 guys over here, and Jimmy was in the other hole on the other side. And that's going to bring up Joey Agardo. 6-5 ball game now. And Joey, little flare, and Mike Marola puts it away. So Flashback, courtesy of a bad hop, puts up a 3 spot. And they're right back in this ball game at 6-5, heading into the bottom of the third. And if you're the 45s, you want to scratch here because Flashback, when they get rolling, like a lot of teams.
Hey, now you know how I feel. Go ahead.
So it wouldn't have mattered if he was 6 feet tall. That ball popped up like a Super Ball. And Larry Downs, who's over here coaching first, knows he's played a lot of center field. And we've seen a couple of bad hop homers this weekend. And with the 300-foot fence, once it gets out in that territory, you got to be kind of slow in order to not make it around. So it's 7-4 in the other diamond. And there's a hammer shot, and Kern's got there. Hit his hands, hit his chest, and hit the ground. Kern's got a great jump on it. Came flying in, and he got a little handcuff. That ball had a little juice on it, and he reached down a little too low. That might have hit the heel on his palms. So leadoff hitter on. Good things happen when you hit the ball hard. And here's Chris Lentine. So leadoff man is on here.
Hot 30, hot 30. Good. You're doing your pitch.
And Will just kind of threw that up there, looking for a strike. And there's a hot ground ball, and it goes through. And now Dispenza has a problem. And Scotty Vetter scores. So we got some outfielders having trouble picking the ball up. And it's leading to some offense. So still nobody out. Brings up Moretti. On that ground ball, it looked like P.J. Raines broke for the bag. I don't think he was going to be able to get it, even though I think he was playing on this side for Chris. Scotty Vickers was pulled over a little bit toward the right field line. So again, these two guys haven't played next to each other. And Moretti hits a fly ball trying to move him. Dispenza's got a hose, and he won't even try it. And that's a good job by Danny. He got himself lined up. You noticed he did not use a basket catch there. Had himself in a good throwing position. And it brings up Adam Haas.
All right, Adam, right now, Adam.
And Adam goes big on his horse's Kearns. He makes the catch. 360 spin. He throws it crazy. And he's safe. So Flashback thought he might have left a little early. Again, the rule is as soon as the outfielder touches it. So back to 8-5, they get a couple of those runs right back, and they extend out to a 3-run lead.
Hey, start it, Mikey.
So here's Mike Marola. Should be 2 outs now. So Brian Kearns has been running all over the outfield out there. You wouldn't know it from looking at it, but he's in his 40s. And Marola trying to walk the dog, and Dispenza. And they called it fair, and it's out of play. It'll be a double. Some Danny Dispenza got there. He slid underneath it. Hit him in the midsection and then rolled out of bounds. So here's Joe Pauly. Line drive single his last time up. Flash trying to work out of trouble. And that's a high fly ball, and they get out of it. But we got an 8-5 ball game right now. They have not changed the scoreboard, but I'm pretty sure it's 8. I think Kelly's going to walk down there, patting. And I'm going to grab some water, folks. It's 8, Joe. And they do change the scoreboard. Whenever we're at tournaments with scoreboards, people get awful crazy if you don't change the runs. So, good answer there by the 45s to get back in the scoring column. And it's going to be Ryan Russ leading off here. Then Anthony Stacy and Scotty Vickers. And again, you see he keeps trying to go high early, and then he comes back flat when he needs a strike. And Ryan, a little inside out, long way to go. Foul ball by, not by much. Ryan was well on his way to third, but that ball after it hit, a little inside out, spun, and would have been out of play for a double. So here's Ryan Russ now on the reset. And Ryan, a little knuckleball. He stays hot. And he pumps it in front of the left fielder, Anthony Sanchez. And that's going to bring up Anthony Stacy. So Signature still has to play the Pharaohs. In the 8:15 game tonight to see who will play the winner of this game at 1:15 tomorrow for the winner bracket final. Stacy, a little ground ball. Villarreal, great job. And they can't make the play there. Villarreal normally very accurate. And Ryan Russ didn't slide there. If he slid, it would have been easy, and then he almost came off the bag. So Moneyline is winning 7-4 against March. I did see them change the inning, so I can confirm that. Again, that is a loser bracket game. So somebody going home over there. And here's Scotty Vicker. And that ball hits the plate. You see again, he threw that ball with a little arch. I think if you're flashback, you want to pay attention to it because his pattern is, and there it is, the flatter pitch.
Don't help him.
And Vicker reaches down and good base running, and now the ball gets away. Ryan Russ will go to third.
It's going right in my belly. He's going like this.
Adam is laughing. Adam Haas was laughing. He said, he made a comment, I got to try. So they're going to let Will Ross hit here. 1 out. Scotty Vicker tried to rake the ball into right field. Didn't quite elevate it, and they're all coming in. This is going to be a ground ball. Nicely done. They'll pick up a run. And Will did his job. That's all his father and coach was trying to get him to do. And they didn't want to pinch hit for him because then if he came back in, he would not have another move. And right now they still got Moji who can come back in, and they don't burn a move on Will there. So now they got another runner in scoring position for Brian Kearns, and they're not playing him deep at all. Brian's got a good swing. Wouldn't surprise me if he didn't try to drive and elevate here. As Chuck Regaldo's a good outfielder, but he's so shallow. Anything hit hard toward the gap, a line drive, he'd have trouble. And there he guides it off of Villarreal. Stacy's going to score, and it's 8-7. All of this now coming with 2 outs. And these Danny Villarreal, great effort. Anthony Stacy runs okay, but off of the dive, the ball really died out there. And here's P.J. Raines now. And again, Chuck is playing a lot of these hitters kind of shallow.
You're good.
And there Jimmy grabs a strike. First hitter in a couple where he got a strike right away.
You're good. He's not coming. You're good.
And Kearns can fly with 2 outs and any type of a long stretch single here. He's got a good chance to wheel and score. PJ, too much air. Marola drifting with it, but makes the catch. So we head to the bottom of the 4th, 8-7. Meanwhile, Moneyline has tacked on a run. They lead 8-4. So Flashback been climbing uphill ever since they fell behind 6-0. They've outscored the 45 7-2 since that first inning. And so far this is shaping up to be a good one. We're halfway through. And with the wind blowing out, it's always good to have the hammer, which the 45s have, being the home team. And it's going to be Danny Villarreal, Chuck Regaldo, and then the top of the lineup.
Hey, stay up, boys. Let's go.
Come on in.
And Villarreal, a little soft fly ball. Kearns dropped it. He got there and he dropped it. And now the ball gets away, but Kearns got there. He was in good position. And that's the second ball Kearns has dropped. He's normally pretty sure-handed. He made this spectacular over-the-shoulder catch. Dispenza was in the neighborhood. And here come the 45s. I almost slid into a little Ronzano. He dropped the ball. I don't know if you remember that clip, Cub fans. As a White Sox fan, I do remember. So here's Chalk. So Will Russ falling behind here. And there's a bouncer right to Will. Over to PJ, and they spin. Will Russ with a nice snag there. And they turned the double play. This ball had a little juice on it. Will got his hands up. Might have been self-defense. Threw a strike to PJ, and they turn. And both of these teams will play some defense, despite the fact that Kearns has got a couple of errors in the game. And here's Sanchez. Will Russ, a young guy, he's only been pitching for about a year and a half, 2 years. He pitches in Brooks Park on Sundays. And there's a fly ball, and that took a high hop, but Kearns was able to keep it from going over the top. 2-out double there by Anthony Sanchez and brings up Nate Mercado. So that double play looking even bigger at this point.
Come on, Nate. Come on, Nate. Come on, Nate. Come on, Nate.
Bottom of the fifth. 2-out base runner on the other diamond. 8-4, March hitting and trailing. So here's Nate. And he walks the dog down the right field line in front of Dispenza. He faked the throw, hoping that Nate would take the bait, but he didn't.
Hey, Senior, I'll do the rest.
So Dispenza, he looked like a quarterback faking the throw after he makes the handoff there. He kind of hit the softball with one hand and came up like he was throwing, but Nate, pretty observant, didn't take it. So Vince Sacy drove it last time, and Kearns robbed him. And he yells, go, and he hits a ground ball, and it gets through. Got to get this in a hurry. Mercado halfway home, but he'll go back. Julian Gutierrez, that throw might have been up the line a little bit, but Julian Gutierrez climbed the ladder there, and it brings up Scotty Vetter. So after they got the first 2 outs, courtesy of the double play, 45s have plated a run, and they're looking for more. And Vetter goes big. Going back is Kearns. And he makes that catch right in front of the screen. And Kearns fires the ball in. And they're throwing it all over the place. Chuck was going to fire it back. Kearns has already passed it. Now he's got to go to the fence to go get the ball. So that's a big out there. Vetter about 8 feet short of hitting one out of here. And that's a big out. So they end up scoring one. A lot of noise with 2 out to get that one. And it looks like it's going to be Danny Dispenza, Julian Gutierrez, and Mike Manzella as we go to the...
That's why he's actually hitting it.
Sorry, I'm way behind on my innings. I'm so wrapped up in this ball game. But it is the 5th, so I apologize for that. 8-5 now. as they head to the 6th over there, money line and March. Farrells will be playing after this game, Christopher. I'm going to try to see if I can't get Will Ross to maybe jump in and broadcast it, but depending on what happens here in Dispenza, Villaria, uncharacteristic. Danny waited back on that. He didn't charge it, and he got a little rough hop right at the end. And the leadoff man on, good speed for Julian Gutierrez. A long one ties it.
I'm still going on.
And Julian's got big pop, but he's been focusing on hitting more line drives. And he sneaks a strike in there.
Way back.
And Julian, a ground ball, and Jimmy Moretti, the bobble, safe at second.
Russell, Daddy!
Great effort. We told you good speed on board, and that's what you got to do, folks. You got to slide. If you try to stand up there, you're going to lose a step and a half, and you've been out. So we got a blown tire over there. Going to put the new rim on. First two hitters on here brings up Mike Manzella. Julian kind of opened up a little bit. Front shoulder came out. Got a good piece of the bat on it, but couldn't elevate it. And there's a ball.
Good.
Jimmy been kind of changing up what he's doing, and that's a sky-high pop-up. Wind pushed it out. Both runners going to advance. Julian, hard slide, and he's in. So the tying runs in scoring position for Joey Agardo. And that ball carried pretty good. It got up in the wind. And I didn't think he hit it that far, to be honest with you. But, again, we got a lot of wind still at the top of the trees, and it pushed it out. So here's Joey Agardo tying runs at second and third. One out here. Now, if you're Flash, you want to get both of them if you can. And now there's a timeout. I think Jimmy wants to talk to him, but Ryan Russ has been swinging it good, so it's not about walking. He might be... Okay, I see. Jimmy wanted to talk to Israel about where to put the short center. I don't know about this. I think Joey Agardo is a little more comfortable hitting the ball to left center than right center. And again, in a game like this, I think the flashback mentality sometimes is let's roll up a big inning if we can. So it wouldn't surprise me if he didn't try to go to left center. Again, that's right now on the infield, that's the biggest hole. Chuck is really creeping in. And Joey does go that way. And Chuck makes a catch. And now they're going to get the double play. Julian Gutierrez. Brain cramp. Flashback gets nothing. Joey Agardo hit the ball hard. Chuck made a great effort to get there. Julian thought it was going to be a hit. Didn't watch it land. And that cost Flashback a run. And that Ryan Russ, one of your hottest hitters, coming up there, does not get a chance to hit with a runner in scoring position. And nothing will drive you crazier. It drives you insane. Because, see, here's the thing, kids. If you're at second base and that ball is down, you're going to score easy. You don't need to cheat on that. So you got to see that ball hit the carpet, especially with this wind, because it is going to knock some balls down and maybe keep some balls in the air a little longer. So when you're at second base, you take a couple of steps off so you can get back. If he catches it, you go back. If you're on third, you stay there because your job is to tag and score, and you're going to score too if the ball drops. And if you're at second with 2 outs, you're going to score on a hit anyway. And that's a weird knuckleball. And Dispenza comes up firing. And PJ got a. I'd like to see Scotty Vickers go out there and line that up with second base. So your right fielder has kind of a landing strip of where he's throwing the ball to. So leadoff man on. 45s were pretty excited there. They work out of a second and third 1-out jam. And we told you, they'll smother you. They'll play defense. And now Jeff Mastari going to come and run. So whatever the issue is, it's not with his legs. So here's Moretti. And there's a strike. You see the secondary lead, and Moretti tries to cut Ryan Russ. Foul ball. And Ryan runs all the way onto the, almost to the other field there. So Jimmy Moretti there. I think Jimmy caught a break there. He hit it so far foul that the wind couldn't keep it to a bigger part of the field for Ryan Russ to get to it. And there's a ball base hit into the gap. Mastari will cruise into third. Runners on the corner. 45s look like they got a little added juice after that unconventional double play. And now they're threatening to expand this 2-run lead.
Hey, wait to listen.
And here's Adam Haas. Adam Haas, sky high. Dispenza's got a bead, and he'll just throw it into second. Run does score 10-7. 45s. 8-5 in the seventh on the other diamond with money line hitting in the top of the seventh.
Come on, Mike, let's go. Pick me up here, kid.
And there's a strike. So big difference on when you come back tomorrow. Win or lose this game, and that ball's going to be a top of the fence and out of play. I don't see, where did Adam so that's an out. Adam had 2 strikes. No, I take that back. And Marola, Dispenza's there. There's no tag. 2 outs. So Adam Haas did pop that foul ball, and that was strike 3, and it brings up Joe Pauly. I think right now, the way the inning started, Flashback will be okay giving up the run. Well, you're never okay giving up the run, but the way this inning started, it had the potential to be a bigger inning. And that ball's off the plate. And home plate jumping around on Will Russ here. Grabs a strike, 3-1. Pauly swings, and you might have heard Dispenza telling Kearns the ball was going to carry. He kept saying, back, back, back. So we're going to head now, top of the sixth. We got ourselves a heavyweight fight here. So the 45's 3-run lead. Flashback been trying to climb the mountain all day. It's going to be Ryan Russ, Anthony Stacy, and Scotty Vickers. And I think, you know, we talk sometimes about how complicated it is to be a third base coach. And a lot of times whether you send a guy, a lot of times you dictate that based on who's coming up and what part of the lineup you're in. Because you want your good hitters to get a crack at it, especially if you don't know for sure if a guy's going to score. But as a base runner, you don't want to get doubled up when you got guys coming up that are being productive on a given day or weekend. And that's inside. Now your guys have given you a 3-run lead here. Jimmy's job is to make these guys swing to get on. And that's heavy. And there he snuck a strike in. Little flat dead fish that just cleared the point. So Ryan Russ wants to make sure he doesn't get quick pitched. And Ryan slaps a big hop to Vetter, long throw. Adam Haas. Told you Adam's always been a terrific first baseman, dug it out of the dirt. So they get the very hot Ryan Russ out. And it brings up Stacy. Stacy up to shoot. That's going to be a can of corn for Anthony Sanchez. Looked like Anthony was trying to go big there. Some of the flashback hitters look like they're getting a little out of what they normally do. They've hit a lot of balls with a lot of air under them. It brings up Scotty Vickers with Will Russ on deck. Should Vickers get on, and I don't even know if they got anybody to pinch hit for him. They do have Petey Raines who hit for Emoji. And that's going to be a slow roller to Mercado, and that'll do it. So we head to the bottom of the sixth. 10-7. If you're flashback, you need to hold it here. If you're the 45s, you're looking for insurance. And they will hit for Will Russ to start the seventh inning with Pete Raines. They have not hit for Will, so he would be able to come back should they tie the game. And Flashback, who's been ringing the cash register on this field, sitting on a 7 spot. We were all kind of speculating that this might have been a very high-scoring game. But again, Flash missing a few of their starters. And again, nobody has sympathy for you in softball. If your guys aren't there, they're also missing Vito Iovino, along with Joe Pish and Justin Smykowski. And that ball's going to carry out to Ryan Russ for out number 1.
Lock in here, Ford. Hey, come on, Sharky, let's go.
And I'm not sure if the loser of this game has to play at 8:15 or not. But that's always a tough turnaround when you've got to play after a tough loss. Top of the lineup, waiting, and that's a hot shot to Joey Agardo. Stayed right with it, made the play. Brings up Sanchez now. If you remember, it was an 8-7 ball game, and they got that big double play, and we were in the same part of the lineup, and 45s found a way to put up a run. So, and again, the 45s do have the hammer. And there's a ball to Ryan Ross. So they go 1, 2, 3. We go to a do or die 7th for flashback.
Go get me a 0. Let's go.
So Flash needs 3 to keep the game alive, 4 to take a lead. Anything less, and the 45s will be playing the winner of Signature and Pharaohs in the winter bracket final tomorrow, and that's huge. So that's less games you got to play tomorrow. And, of course, the winner of that winter bracket game has the advantage of being in the championship where they would have to get beat twice. So a lot riding on this game and the Pharaoh Signature game. So Petey Raines is indeed pinch hitting, and then the top of the flashback lineup. And Pete slashes it. Vetter, little fumble. And that was bang, bang. We'll take a look at it. And you can decide. And I do believe he just nipped Petey Raines. So Scotty Vetter couldn't handle the hot shot to start, but he stayed with it. Yeah, Lee, it's been a crazy weekend. We've had something nuts like 6 or 7 games where the winning team was in the 20s. Kern's a little roller up the middle. Paulie out number 2. Another bang bang at first. Flashback down to their last out here. And 45's doing what they do, playing great defense. The 45's wind blowing in, wind blowing out. They've been right around the 10 mark the whole tournament. And that 10th run they scored was huge because coming up, if the game gets extended, you would have had Dispenza, Gutierrez, and Manzella. PJ Raines, this might, no, it just drifted foul. So, I don't think if the ball was fair, Mike Marola would have got to it, but it just faded foul. And a lot of times when a team plays defense like the 45s can, it starts to get into hitters' head. And they think they got to be perfect with everything. And then they try to hit the ball maybe a little harder, put a little extra on that swing, and then and that's off of Moretti in no man's land. This is going to be close. And that's Chris Lentine was right here. So PJ Raines extends the game for Dispenza. Flashback looking for a little 2-out magic here. And if you're Dispenza, you just want to do what you do because even if you hit a home run, you're still losing. And they really need about 2 hits here. Right now in the flashback dugout, they're saying 3 hits, and we take the lead. And Dispenza, high fly ball, and that's going to do it. So 45s continue to play brilliant defensively. They will play in the winter bracket championship game at at 1:15 tomorrow. Signature of the Pharaohs. So this is Gio. I'm signing off for now. We'll see if we can get you some bonus coverage, but I can't promise you anything.